Episode 7 of Gangsta really brought everything together, and that right there I was digging. I love this episode because finally we are now done with the whole Woricks and Nicolas flashback, because we finally see what went down that night that, Nicolas killed Woricks' father. But we see now, in a flashback in the episode, we see now that, Nicolas was already pretty sick, and we have a doctor now saying that, there was not much that he can do, or that he didn't have too much time left, because we see now that right now, Nicolas' injuries were not that much. All he had was some kind of infection, and we see now that this doctor, really does not want to help Twilight, because he was saying that they cannot have, any hope that, they can live. So it's not that, Twilights, have very short lifespans, but it's the fact that they die when they're all really young, somewhere or another. Mainly they're killed. I thought maybe something was wrong with them, and they die maybe of some kind of disease or a virus or something in the body. It's just killing them, but it turns out that it's by other means, somebody actually killing them, or they die maybe in a fight. That right there is usually why they have, very short lifespans. But we see now that one way to extend their life, while also is making them, more powerful, is by, the drug known as Celibur. And we see now that, Nicolas, not Nicolas, we have Worrick having a nightmare, because obviously he was dreaming about that night where father was killed, and we see him now waking up, and we have Ali in his room trying to cover him. I definitely like this whole building of the relationship between Worrick and Alex. I definitely want to see how forward it goes. Maybe these two will get together, but right now they are definitely pushing along things quite nicely, at least in my opinion. And we see her now comforting her, just like her mother did when she was a young girl, and she would have bad dreams like this. And so we see that Nicolas, he is now up and at it, because we see him now having fun with Nina, and we see that Doug is all better as well. And we have that cop that normally comes to them for work. And we see now that not only that, we Doug learns that Nicolas is deaf, which is why he could never get through to him, because all this time he thought Nicolas here was just ignoring him, because he didn't know the very special circumstances that Nicolas here had to go through every day. And it was definitely nice to see these two kind of getting close. And we do learn now that Doug here, not only is this guy not young, not a young boy like I thought, he is actually 20 years old, and he's turning 21, sometime this year for them. And that right there shocked me, because I thought for sure this guy was in his teenage year, but no, right now he's currently 20. And we do learn that you cannot take a solo job if you're not 20. So that right there definitely confirms that. And so we see now that the reason why he took the job is because he had really wanted to fight another strong tag. But when he learned, or we learn more about him, and we learn now that he was from the Southgate, and Nicolas is from the Westgate, and we learn now that he's the only survivor, I believe, from there. So I do wonder what exactly happened that caused him to be the only survivor. But I do believe that we learn about that more in another flashback, where we have Nicolas in his room reading his sign language book, and we see him now running out there in the rain trying to catch his father. And so we see now that when he comes out to his captain, we have been saying that he had no need for a good for nothing. And then we see now Nicolas trying to act like his son and calling him father, and we have this guy, this piece of crap of a man, turn around and pull out these container of Celibur, and pretty much tells him, don't act like you're a human, you monster, and just throws it on the ground. And that right there definitely breaks Nick. You can see it right in his face, because we have Worrick running after him, and we see him now, holding 2 containers of Celibur, because he bought it from that doctor, because obviously, Worrick here definitely has money, thanks to his father. And we just see Nicolas, very gloom. You see him now saying nothing, and the rain just hitting him, and that right there was definitely a very, very, important scene right there, because it just shows you, the mindset of his character back then when like he was a very young child. And so now we see at one point there was like a meeting between Monroe, Gina, and some little girl, and then we also have a meeting between now I'm not sure what his name is, but obviously his face is like messed up, and we definitely know that he's working with like these tag killers, because we see that the officer and Theo, they were like talking at one point, and we learn now that all the people that are like dying, they were tags, and we learn now that these tags, they were in the prime of their life, so they were all at their best, and they were like still killed. And so right now it's definitely kind of messed up what's going on here. And so we see now that someone's definitely going around killing tags, and we see that not only are they killing them, but because their tags are being stolen as well, it's definitely hard to like identify them. And so we see that little girl in the meeting was like accusing the guy with scar on his face of like working with tags, and doing this. But this guy for some reason really hates tags, and we have no idea why, but he like really hates them. And we see now that that at one point he got so angry, at the thought of this, he'll almost, like vomit, right there on the spot. But we have no idea why this guy hates tags. But I would imagine that he must have lost a lot to them. And not only that, it's obvious that, I would imagine a tag was the one that gave him that scar on his face. And now going back to Alex, we do learn, thankfully, that she is getting better now, and we see that the doctor is like giving her tranquilizers, that way she'll be calmed down, because obviously, if she doesn't take those, it's definitely possible for her, to have a relapse, and that way she might imagine her old pimp is now there haunting her once again. But I feel that tranquilizer might be a bit too much, but obviously been working. It definitely can't do that much harm, especially, if she controls it. But after her appointment, we see now that Nicholas has stayed there and was like waiting for her, and we see her now trying to use sign language to talk to him. But right now, she's very still new at this, and she was like so bad at it. But I definitely found it hilarious, how Nicholas kind of made it, like a joke with her, but obviously this right here was like her way. Well, this right here was his way of getting her, to like stick around, because he had told her, to start over, and for her to do that, she had to like stay with him and read that book. So I do feel like Nicholas is also getting attached to Alex as well, which is why, I'm positive that like she will never leave them, which is definitely, a good thing. But going back to the flashback now, we see now that at one point, Woricks' father found him actually smoking, and so we see now that he beat him up pretty badly for that, and we have Warwick here, now getting tired of this, and so we see at one point, Nicholas had made some kind of sign language, and all we heard was ill. But we find out that sign language actually meant kill, and so we see now that the next time that Warwick's father found him smoking and was like beating him up, all we see is Nicholas watching him, and we have Warwick, like saying one thing, and we have no idea what he said, but it's definitely obvious that he did say kill, because next thing we know, we find that his father was like dead after he used a cigarette to actually, burn into Warwick's eye. So that right there is how he lost it. I thought for sure that like maybe Nicholas might have went berserk and might have attacked him, but that right there was definitely not the case at all. And so we see that not only did Nicholas kill Warwick's father, but this guy went kind of overboard and killed everyone, and we see him now going around the mansion and killing everybody, and for some reason, like, I did not see this coming. I just thought, Nicholas would like kill his father and that be it. I never expected him to go around killing everyone. And so we see now that Warwick's brother and mother were like hiding in some closet, and Nicholas found them. and the next time, Warwick had found them, they're like already dead. And then we have Warwick, then we have Nicolas trying to take his own life, but Warwick would not, let that happen, because he was saying that Nicolas can only die after he has suffered a lot more. Until then, he has to live, and that right there was an order. And obviously, Nicolas under contract could not disobey that, but we do see that, with Warwick's eye being messed up, Nicolas thought that like he didn't need it anymore, and that right there, caused him to like rip it out. And so we see that throughout the entire episode, Warwick here was like trying so hard to trying too hard to remember his past, because Alex asked him a question and for some reason he couldn't answer it. And so we see now that while the meeting was going on, we have Delico coming to Warwick and they were talking for a bit. And so we see now that, Warwick finally remembers everything, and we see him now kind of like talking to his younger self. And so, and for some reason, when Woricks said that like he hates all tags, I definitely thought he was serious, and he might have been. We have no idea, but obviously, Delico was saying that he hates Norma too, and that right there is where Warwick kind of seemed like his normal self. And like joking him a bit. But now we see that, two young kids are definitely ones behind, these tag murders that are going on. And that right there was obvious from like previous episodes. But we see now that like one of the victims were alive, and he was asking them, for forgiveness. And we have some boy, I believe that is, saying like that right there was his own fault because they were abandoned by them. And we have no idea who the them they are talking about, but we see now that this girl is like freaking ruthless, and she actually cuts off his head. And so we see now that right now she has like this pouch, and they were like full of tags. And so we see that, when they're leaving, her and Nicolas actually walk past each other, and Nicolas definitely sensed her. But when he looks down this alley and doesn't see her, we have Alex bumping into him, and we just see like the biggest grin on his face. And I thought for sure that like that he might go down the alleyway and like try to confront him, but no, he actually just kept on walking. But that right there obviously hinted at a major fight between them happening, hopefully soon, because right now we only have 5 episodes left, so I would imagine that a fight between them should be happening quite soon. But I do wonder who the kid exactly, because obviously at least that little boy is definitely not 21 or 20. So for him to be doing this on his own, with this older girl, I do wonder who they are exactly, and who they work for, because right now it's definitely shaping up to be something pretty major. But overall, for episode, to me, like I said, it was definitely good. I am so glad that we finally saw this flashback come to an end, because to me it was definitely good, and I am glad that we now know everything. And so for a very strong episode, and to me, this episode was like flashback, character development, and also some pretty good story progression as well. And so for that, I felt like it deserved maybe a 9 or 8 out of 10. But of course, I'll let you guys thoughts on this. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And you guys take it easy. I'll see you all next time.